Welcome to Vintage Burn. This is Kev.
I forgot how to do this. Marco.
And Doug. When's the last time the three of us were in a room together?
When
When was the last Olympics?
Yes.
When was the last eclipse?
Well, it's been a while, and the three of us together, we've done a bunch of podcasting, thankfully, but we've been doing things separately, and we do also have Jay, who's been helping us out. So, there's gonna be quite a mix-up. Marco loves doing metal, so him and I are gonna do stuff. Doug and I are gonna do stuff, and then sometimes we'll have Jay on to do stuff as well with us. So Dr. J, as you guys have heard in the past, but yeah, it's good to have the three amigos, the original three, together to do this. So turn it over to you, Doug.
I just want to say a quick thing. I do enjoy how we I know a lot of podcasts, if one person out there, they won't do it, but I like how we like you said, you do your metal thing, or Jay joins us for a podcast, or I'm not around and you guys do a cast.
Yep.
I think that's half the beauty,
Yep.
Especially for anyone who may listen. I feel like it kind of gives different opportunities to check out different opinions, and plus Dr. J is always a blast to have on.
Yeah, and it's good because I think we all go to different shows, we all have different experiences, and we all like to do different movies. So I think that's the best part of it. And for you guys out there in the world, I think it's awesome. We can say not just in the U.S., but throughout the world, you're all listening for whatever reason. So you're attracting to certain podcasts, and thank you for listening and giving us an opportunity to do this, because it's very cool. It's awesome to know that this is going to go beyond us, and when we're not doing this, there are still downloads every month for episodes that are, I don't know, years ago, and that's awesome.
Which is kind of wild to think about. We've been doing this, 4 years or 5 years now?
This is
4 or 5
I think
years.
it's season 4 or 5. It might be season 5.
It might be going on 5.
We might be on season 5 already, yeah.
Which is crazy.
So this might be season 6 next year. Isn't
All
that
right.
insane?
Can I get emotional for a minute?
Yeah.
It's in the blood. Let's get it started.
All right, so I'm actually super stoked to be doing this one because I don't get the chance to do. We all have different opinions of movies and different things we go for. One I've always been a fan of, and you guys know, anyone who listens, I love cheesy. I love comedy or so bad it's funny type thing. So this is a rare occurrence that we get to do this on the cast, because normally it's something that's well reviewed.
The Conjuring.
Or
Whatever.
Or very influential, like My Bloody Valentine. So we are very happy to bring you 1988's Hack O' Lantern. Running, or actually, also known as, this is one of those weird ones, kind of like Dead Alive, that has other titles. So there's Satan, or Halloween Night, The Damning, Death Mask, and my favorite, Grandpa.
Sold. I already would have preferred it because he is the best character in this.
Grandpa.
Agreed.
I'm going to kill my son-in-law and try to bang my entire family. That's my favorite title for the original movie.
Or my favorite line from Grandpa is,
He's the best.
we don't take so kind of trespassing, see? Got your pick of the page. Pick of the page. He almost sounds like Doc Holliday from Tombstone.
Can we just point out his only other claim to fame, or there might be more, but his most well-known... Blade Runner.
Yeah.
That's it. At the bar, right? That's it.
Yep. That's probably his most famous role for sure. Yeah.
Well, so
I'm sure he's been in other things.
This was probably his least best performance.
I thought he was actually good in it.
Really?
I liked it. I thought he was good. He played
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I thought he was funny. I think he fit the mold. He fit the mold.
Let me ask you guys a question. I've seen this. This is probably my 4th time watching it for this podcast. Yes.
Oh, you've watched it 4 times?
I watched it 3. So.
This is your first time ever.
Yeah.
And you said you've seen it in the past and rewatched it twice.
I've seen it once in the past and I've rewatched it twice. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So after the first watch, after you're just so what the fuck is going on? You're like, wow, this dude, it's such a weird, you don't know how to feel. After the scene ends with him, you're like, what the fuck did he just say? That was creepy. It's weird. But, all right, we'll get into all this.
We'll get into that.
Maybe it's going to be a longer cast than I thought. All right, so running 127 minutes of pure cheese. It ranking in at a surprising 4.6 on the IMDb and 41% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That is a surprise.
But but we'll get to that too. I think I know why. I don't say it's a high ranking, but a higher. Like some of these movies, you see 1.2, 2.3 is like.
It really should not have received that score.
Well, no, and I'll tell you why at the end. Why I think anyway. All right, so the synopsis on IMDb, which I'm gonna read you too. This one here, a kindly, and I say kindly in exclamation points. A kindly old grandfather turns out to be a murderous satanic cult leader, which sacrifices its victims on Halloween. And like I say kindly because. You never get that impression. Only that he's like fucking just a dirtbag. Mm-hmm. So another one I found.
Well, he does give Tommy a pumpkin
and a weird skeleton. Then
gives you a pick of the pants.
Yeah. And then hugs him way too long. I don't know, man. Like
that's true too.
So a young man under the influence of his evil grandfather can only achieve manhood, not even Satan like status, manhood, through a Halloween night murder. So before we go on, 5.5 million at the box office. Which I heard this might have been straight to video back then, but I could not prove that.
Well, they probably put it like small run in small theaters, like say in like New York City back in the day, where they had those little theaters that would play like double features, or maybe it was a drive-in.
You mean jizz booths?
Yeah. Well, I mean next to the jizz booths, yeah.
But from the artwork too, so back in the day when you actually had to drive by a theater and you saw if they had that out front, for advertisement, it's not a terrible cover. Like it's not a terrible poster. For artwork.
It's very 80s too, which
great,
I love.
But it's totally 80s.
Yeah, it fits the time, for sure.
It fits the time, so people were probably like, this could be good.
Mm-hmm. So director Jag Mundra, is that how you pronounce it?
Jag Mundra, yeah.
Jag Mundra. So he had a slasher type film a year before in 87 that came out called Open House, and people say this is the more well-reviewed one, more well-reviewed. So that one, it gets even worse if you want to go to his first like slasher.
That's interesting.
And then he went on to do a bunch of Skinemax type movies,
Not
like softcore porn after this.
We'll talk about that
too. And then it says here in my notes, we'll do research and I'll get back to you on that Skinemax. It's all side boob and bush.
Like, you know he's already downloaded half those movies.
Yeah. Well, like send Marco a list. Like, wait a minute. So Hyde Park, yeah, he was also in Vamp.
Hyde Park. You going to Boston? High Pike?
High Pike. Oh, Hyde Park. Fuck you. Blade Runner, like we talked about, Dolomite, and...
he's in Dolomite. See, that's a famous movie, too.
And then he always played like a manic and a borderline cuckoo.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then in my notes here it says, he does not look good as a mall goth. And his voice is weird and cool, but he should have kept the weird walrus mask on throughout the movie. Instead of the weird eyeliner and trespasses on. Taking Courtney around here. Yeah. It's like he's like a cowboy, but not. Like he does not look good with mascara.
His voice reminded me of the weird nipple guy in Waterboy.
You know, I think that's what he was trying to achieve.
That was the guy in Waterboy. He was totally playing off of that.
Probably,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be that dude from that '80s horror movie that nobody likes. Because I'm like, that's the dude from Waterboy. I was like, what the fuck?
He was also in Joe Dirt too, right? Almost the same character.
Almost the same character.
You know, naked. Yeah. I get it. You want to see homos naked?
Yeah.
No, homos where you make it. All right, we digress. So yeah, he didn't do a ton of horror after this. There's another one that was like half horror, and then like I said, the rest was all Skinemax side boob.
Yeah, he just took whatever jobs he can get, baby.
Honestly, yeah. And so some of the other actors.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
No,
I agree. I do agree with.
There was one that went on to, and I don't even fucking think I wrote it down because I didn't think it was that. Yeah, like one of the other girls did like what was that one with Linnea Quigley? Slime-O-Rama. Fuck. Oh, you know what? It's on the third page. So the mom, Katrina Gardner, was in Cannibal Hookers, which I just asked you for.
Couldn't find it.
She was pretty. The mom was pretty.
Honestly, after watching it a few times, I realized she's actually the babe in the movie.
Yeah, she is. She's very attractive.
There's something about like a bigger blonde woman who's like loves her family. Like she's like there through thick and thin. Like that's attracted me. Like when I was a kid, it would have been one of like the younger girlfriends.
Her non-stop incessant crying killed me with her. But
it happens.
Yeah, but I just mean as an actress, like
no,
she
did okay. Yeah,
she's very. She wasn't overdone. She was very like the mom next door type of that era.
Agree.
All right, so let's talk about the opening sequence where it's just kind of like black with the words coming up. Black screen, orange letters, kind of very, a quintessential horror slasher for the time. This is where we were talking about music earlier. So it's got this like creepy 80s vibe with the music.
Yeah,
it's like kind of like
stuff.
It's like a church synth,
Mm-hmm.
and then.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you know why after watching this after 4 times it finally fucking set? And do you know why that creeps me out?
Why?
Maybe Kevin, do you know?
No.
Christ will come again.
Oh, okay, I can see
so
that.
that's probably what it is.
Maybe
So
that's
it's
what
this
it is.
weird, like, I think because it's, they've taken that. Remember, like, in all the, like, Conjuring movies, like, 1, 2, 3 mains, mocking, like, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So I feel like they kind of took that and kind of like...
Okay, you know what? I didn't catch that, but now that you say it, and I hear the chime, I hear the jingle.
And then they had like a bit of
That makes
synth,
sense.
and then so I'm like, why is this like? It's good. I'm like, because I fucking when I used to work at like a power plant that was very empty and acoustic, I would just 3 a.m. just Christ will come again.
Yeah.
So like once it hit, I'm like, oh, that's why it has that creepy organs, and then like reminds you of church and just that guilt feeling. Like I don't know when you're a kid, but
Yeah, that's one thing I won't complain about is the score. I thought the score in general was pretty good in this movie.
yeah, I agree. And I couldn't find the
especially
composer's
for
name.
like a B movie. Like I thought it was really good. The only songs that really bothered me were like the hair metal ones that like the band at the party was playing stuff like
dude.
that.
And can we just talk about that for 1 second?
What, the party?
The party, and that's a whole other.
The dream sequence.
Oh, the
No,
dream
that
sequence.
song rules. I
Really?
love.
You actually like it?
Oh yeah, that song has such a good riff.
Maybe it's because it's probably because of watching the actor Tommy play in it with his fake guitar. That was just bad, dude. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So he's basically the it's his fantasy, but he's not the singer, which usually you're the singer in the fantasy, right? But if you're the guitar player, I feel like you should be the lead at least.
Yeah.
But he's like the rhythm player.
He's just there in the background. There are enough of them. There's enough guitar players
I'm
there.
surprised
We
it's not
don't
like the
even-
bassist, just because no one gives a shit about
Yeah,
the bassist.
I mean he was definitely like he was Yannick from Iron Maiden. He was just there,
I mean,
So DC LaCroix
yeah, it's a band.
is the band, yeah, and I don't know, they're kind of like, I don't know where they came from or where they went. But,
I couldn't find it except for the video on YouTube for that one song.
Yeah.
Devil's Son.
But it's funny, like, I know you don't love Savage Master, and I've showed you them, and then you showed me Chastity or whatever it is. You're like, oh, you like Female Front?
Yeah, Chastain.
So if you listen to that song, I'll put on a song later for you guys from Savage Master, and I was joking around with Liz, I'm like, I can't wait to see this on Judge Judy, like DC LaCroix versus Savage Master, just because her Savage Master's voice, this is like more modern, like 2000 plus, so like her voice and some of those riffs, I'm like, dude, she basically just went down, found this little rabbit hole. I can do this with my voice, and then kind of like capitalized on it.
I would say, check out those bands. So, side note, check out this 80s band, Chastain. Really, really good female-fronted metal band. Music is unbelievable. I forget the guitar player's name, but his name is, I think it's David Chastain. I could be wrong, but last name's Chastain. It's really his band, kind of like the Dofka movement in the 80s in Philadelphia area. Really, really good band. Then you were talking about, what is it? Savage
Master.
Savage Master.
I'll drop some of these links,
But
too.
DC LaCroix, we're just mentioning this because, if you like the music in this movie, DC LaCroix, there's a similar vibe. Chastain's around the same time as this band, DC LaCroix, and then Savage Master's newer.
But you can tell.
Yeah.
Do you realize who Tommy is?
I couldn't put it together because I wasn't thinking about it. Like old Tommy, right? Obviously.
Older, you mean like...
Yeah, like
not
45-year-old
young?
Tommy?
Yes.
The one that's supposed to be 21, but he's 45?
Yeah.
He's
So
32 in the film.
he's 32, but he's supposed to be like,
No
what,
way!
maybe...
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the math. It's 32, LOL. I have it in my
I
head.
know.
Why? How old is he in the original scene? Isn't he like 8 years old? in
He's
the
supposed to be like
original
8, so he's... That
scene?
Tommy
Isn't it like
we
13
see.
years later?
It's 13 years later, and
But
figure
they
he's
picked,
maybe
they picked
8 or
the
9.
wrong dude to try to play 20-something.
Yeah. I think he's supposed to be in his 20s, I thought.
Early,
Yes.
like early 20s.
Early
yeah,
20s.
22.
Like early
And
20s,
he doesn't
yeah.
even, he's 32 in real life at this point. It
Oh,
doesn't
in
even
real
look-
life he's 32. Oh, no, I apologize. That's where I misunderstood.
So yeah,
it.
the actor playing the 20-something-year-old is actually 32.
But
at
he
that
looks like
time,
he's 42.
But he looks like he's 42.
Yeah, right,
It's like
right.
even worse.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't even line
Yeah.
up.
I mean, I'm older than him like by 12 years when he did the movie, and I feel like I look younger if I
They
shave.
hired they had a 22-year-old character and they hired a dude that looks 42.
That's just the way things were done.
And that's a rough 32 too.
That's a rough 32.
Like I remember, I forget what movie. I think it was like Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and like I think it's like the mother. And she comes in. I'm like, holy fuck, that's like a really rough. That's supposed to be like in her mid 30s. That's a really rough mid 30s.
I think people just age different back then.
I think so too.
You know, you look at some people when they
come
say
on,
like,
man. You know, these are the guys casting. At least pick the goddamn right people to cast.
And it's not like he was like a popular actor. Like he was a no name then. So do you know who he?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, can't place it.
Dude, Mac's dad. On It's
He
Always Sunny.
is Max.
Yeah.
Dad. Holy
Max
crap.
Dad.
He's got the beard and It's Always Sunny.
Always
but-
Sunny in Philadelphia.
Dude, the eyes in that strong.
That is Max Dad.
That's Max Dad.
I'm
That
like-
is so cool.
I'm like, Marco's gonna love this. I'm like, does he know? Does he know?
I did not even know. No,
Yeah,
I didn't
that's Max
realize.
Dad.
But yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah,
Totally.
Gregory Cummings, Mac's dad and
That's
son.
awesome.
He was in Cliffhangers and The Italian Job, and then he was in like a ton of just B movies and like cameo shit.
Wow, that is Max.
But yeah,
Dad.
Mac's dad. So
I'm
that's the
impressed.
other. I'm like,
I'm
I think I have it
impressed.
in my notes somewhere
Yeah.
that like.
That's good. That's good.
So.
But yeah, he's the product of incest. The grandfather rapes the mother, and then
You ruined the whole movie.
they
Damn
have
it.
him. Well, I mean, it kind of tells you right in the beginning. I didn't
Pretty-
know anything. It's
yeah.
pretty close
Well,
to
we
the
skipped
beginning.
it though, Tommy. So like you know,
Pick a patch.
yeah, we got
Mom's patch.
we got the only thing the grandpa's done nice. His grandpa gives his grandson a pumpkin
Every year.
Every year, okay.
Every year, yeah.
He also gives him a present, which is this amulet that goes around his neck. All right, and then we go randomly. All of a sudden, he's like 27 years old or however old he is.
And he's
right?
very angry.
And he's very angry. He has no job. He's a modern millennial.
Yeah.
He's angry.
He lives in like this empty
living in
basement with
empty
a twin
basement.
bed.
He has no
A couple
job.
posters.
He has no job. We're
Yeah.
not sure what he actually does with his life, except he 100% wants to be Rambo, but he's not Rambo.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well-
Definitely they wanted him to be a Stallone type character, but he is not fucking Stallone at this point.
Yeah. He gets good as Max Dad though, but I get that.
Yeah.
I gotcha, yeah.
And then he basically somehow at this point is now drawn to we forgot. He what makes him turn angry is he sees his father who goes to confront the grandfather about the pumpkin when he was a child, like, how dare you give my son a pumpkin and a knife to carve his pumpkin, and he cuts his hand carving the pumpkin, the knife, and then the grandfather kills the father because he goes to confront the grandfather. Apparently this is the first time they've ever had like an altercation randomly, which I find that hard to believe.
But he walked in on his satanic ritual though.
But that's the first time, like randomly, like this is what we're supposed to believe.
You know what it is like though, the town and everybody seems to be accepting of the fact that he's a Satanist.
Yeah,
Like
it's
they
like-
know, everybody knows. Oh, Grandpa,
So he
he's
walked
wacky.
in and
He's a
he's
wacky
like,
Satanist.
How dare you walk in? How dare you walk in our ritual, whatever the character's name, Tommy's dad, and then so they kill
Yeah,
the
Tommy's
dad,
dad, who cares?
and Tommy as a little boy looks out his window or wherever he was and sees the dad's car on fire and knows that
Little blonde boy, by the way.
Daddy.
Yeah, which is weird too.
By the way, he was creepy. That kid
I was gonna
is
say,
creepy looking at
The kid is creeper than High
Pike.
Pike,
Yeah,
and
Pike.
all of them combined. Like that little kid was like.
Now, who did he grow up to be? Is that Leo?
I looked into it. I don't know if he ever did anything after this.
Good.
No.
Sadly, I can believe that he didn't do anything
Look,
after this.
I'll put it this way. I don't think a lot of budget
picked
was
him-
spent on the actors, but I think High Pike, he did overact, but I thought it fit the movie. That's all. I just thought it fit the movie. I thought Tommy's actually a good actor, but maybe miscast.
Yeah,
And I
not
thought
for
the
a
mother was
23-year-old.
pretty good, but then everybody else is terrible.
It's the truth.
All right, so
Terrible.
most of them never did another movie besides this.
Mhm.
Well, I think the
No surprise.
like Vera did like a couple other like horror slashes, like a Pretty Girl in the 80s, but other than that, like no one like went on to have big careers except for I want to say Tommy and obviously
Yeah.
But let me see if the creepy boy. I'll look it up after if the creepy boy.
But I want to talk about like when he so after it shows the flashback rape scene where the grandfather rapes the mom and
on the wedding.
yeah, and I think that's the first boobs in the movie. There's a lot of boobs. I should have done a boob count. How many boobs?
I did the kill count. I didn't.
There's
do
got to
the
be like
count.
18 boobs in it at least.
No, I think what happens first? I think the bubble bath scene happen first?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
And she puts the robe on full of bubbles, but then they flash back and she's completely dry.
Yeah.
Which drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about the scene where the best friend goes, "I'm gonna go play a prank on my
Oh,
best
the
friend"?
fake spider, yeah.
Spider, that's natural, right? That totally
Were
happens.
the 80s that much different? I know, like, well, you might remember. We were.
I was too young though. I mean, like I wasn't of the teenage years, you know. Like,
I mean, we were barely like 5 before
yeah.
1990.
I mean,
so.
I was like 11 in 1990, but I still was my young. It's not like I was going out or playing pranks
but-
like that, you know.
So from like 5 on, like you should have. I don't know.
Is my best
No, I got a
friend
decent
home?
memory, but I'm not like of that age where I would put a spider. I would never think to do a spider
Right.
prank or anything like that. That's all I'm
If
saying.
there's boobies involved.
If I was a little older, I might have pulled that spider prank.
Is my friend upstairs? I just wanted to go upstairs while she's taking a bath and put a fake spider where her soap should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
No, it's got some weird scenes, but like it leads into the whole. She gets the flashback. She goes to check up on Tommy. And it's like, you can't live like this. And she's banging on the door. He's like, leave me alone, Mom.
Yeah.
And then he puts on his headphones, which leads to the best scene of the movie.
And he passes out.
And passes out. We already touched upon it, but he has the fantasy of being in the band. And the fucking song rules, man. I love that song. And that's literally the only reason I chose this movie, because I just watched a review on it.
I will make sure that when I upload this, that I have the video separately from the trailer.
Yeah.
So you have to watch the there's a YouTube video specifically for DC LaCroix that you can watch the video. So I'll upload both the trailer and that
And
video.
the actual video. There's actually 3 videos we need to upload.
3.
The trailer,
Yeah.
the video, which isn't super interesting, but then the video from the movie, like
Yeah,
the actual
that's the
dream.
one, yeah.
We want the fever dream from the movie.
Oh, the fever dream. Okay.
Yeah, because there's actually a good video on YouTube of just the fever dream.
Yeah, it's a weird scene though. It's like he's got like he's the guitar player as we've touched upon, but then like some like I don't know. I'd like to say voodoo woman. Like
yeah, this like
she has something like just
feather lady.
appears, and then she's like dancing along, and he's playing, he's jamming as the rhythm player, and the singer's all into it. The rest of the band's really good.
She's kind of a babe too.
She is a babe.
I think it's like just 80s, like she had nice teeth and good hair. Like that's all you needed in the 80s.
But then she shoots like a laser at the symbol, and it turns into like a skull voodoo.
Oh, like the
skull
voodoo,
thing.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden she has a pitchfork. She knocks down Tommy, and she puts the pitchfork in his neck. Pitchfork, I'm sorry, and tears it off. And then he wakes up.
Yeah, you'd never be able to rip a. I hate to say it, and this is like the least.
But it's a dream, though.
It's a dream, yeah.
So you
couldn't rip a
can't say
head. You
nothing.
couldn't rip. You couldn't rip someone's head off the trot. You could stab the shit out of it. Take a lot more, but did you know she had she had like a red dot on her head?
Mm.
And like whenever there was any type of weird transfer of power, there'd be like a red dot. So maybe it was like, was that Grandpa infiltrating his dream?
Maybe.
You know,
now you're getting deep. I don't think this movie goes that deep.
I don't think so either. But there's a lot of stuff. I have another thing too after that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this, and this. I'm like, no, it can't be.
There's
that
no way
deep.
this
There's
movie's
no way
that
it's that
deep.
deep.
Yeah. Whoever wrote this is not deep. At all.
No.
I mean, it's definitely like very sketchy plot. Like, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the best story ever told or anything.
No, but once again, we'll get to that.
But I just love that scene. I just needed to talk about that scene in detail. And honestly, like the movie for me, like peaks at that moment. I still enjoy it. I'll be honest. I did enjoy the movie overall. But like, what's like another notable scene? Like, we don't have to go through the whole movie, but I think we should like, you know, what's like, there's got to be one
Well,
scene.
no,
you
I think what's like really good, cheesy, terrible horror is when the boyfriend, the sister's boyfriend's running through the cemetery in midday and like trips and falls
in a hole.
into a hole. Like, you're running through the cemetery, it's midday, there's
Forgot
no
about
reason
that.
for you to not see that coming. Trips and falls in this giant hole, obviously gets killed by the killer that we don't know who it is yet.
Did you peg it though?
but
Did you
then-
peg it early?
What do you mean?
Who the killer was?
No, man,
See,
I hadn't.
Well,
I
you
had
think it was
no
a
clue.
different killer the whole time?
Huh?
I thought there was different killers.
See, I thought there was 2.
I thought
At
honestly,
first,
I thought
but
it
I got one of them right, though.
This was all based around Tommy. I thought it was obvious. I was like, oh, this is Tommy. Clearly, it's Tommy.
Well, the
Yeah.
first one, I mean, I thought. Sorry, go ahead.
But anyway, so he falls in the hole. He gets killed. He gets buried, right? And then later on, we find out like the brother, one of the other brothers, who's now a police officer,
Sexy Roger.
sexy
Worst
Roger,
actor in the movie, in my opinion.
comes back
What?
and
Worst actor in the movie.
ends up
Yeah,
having
he did
sex.
nothing after being a stud like blonde actor.
Horrible actor.
He went on to do
That's
like
why he did
nothing.
nothing. He's terrible.
Nothing after this.
He comes back to the
Go on.
cemetery and has sex on top of this freshly dug grave.
Your hand is cold.
Yeah, and it's the hand of obviously of the boyfriend from the sister.
And I love how he fell into like a 4-foot hole. but he's like on the surface. His hands popping through.
Somehow he's on the mound above when there was a
But
full
yeah,
hole,
yeah,
like-
so you're 6 feet
There's already,
down.
like skeletons. and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's how bad it was though. I'm like, they couldn't even at least just bury the guy and not even have the hand. I get
Yeah.
the factor of like that was supposed to be a funny kind of like, oh, your hand, you're cool. And then they go back, right? The sisters go back, and first of all, like, hey, I wanted to show you where I banged your brother on top of this dirt mound.
Once again, were the 80s just that fucking
But
weird?
yeah, and then she pulls the hand, and it's like, wait, so he falls in the hole, gets killed, and they bury him, and he's like 1 foot underneath the rubble all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah, not even. He's like
did he
a-
help himself dig the grave? Did he dig himself up into the grave? I don't know.
I'm surprised his
It was
boner
so
didn't
cheesy, it was
infiltrate the chick below him.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that when they're... So this, I have 2 quick things. Do you remember where they're, like, the weird liquor store scene where you have Tommy's girlfriend goes in and buys a bunch of stuff?
Mm-hmm. Which has a tattoo on her ass.
Yeah, she's
And
like
wild.
So there's like her buying the stuff, and like they pan over to a bunch of people talking about like, oh, that's what does she have that I don't like?
She's got a tattoo on her butt.
I heard she's into weird stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so she, the lady says, the total for her order was $40. So she gives her whatever 1 bill.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, here's your change, $15. So if you do the math, she would have given her a $55 bill. Like the math, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, it took me like 2 days to figure out that too.
Yeah.
But then, all right.
You're overthinking, man.
But then, all right.
They were definitely underthinking that.
Yeah.
So and then, so
The
she
details.
had that tattoo on her left butt cheek, right?
Yeah.
That you saw when she was putting her stuff in the car.
Yeah.
And
It is when I-
the kid talked about right before.
Yes, yeah. But also,
Yep.
and once again, I think I'm reading into this too much. There's a scene later on in the movie where the sacrifice is getting branded. It's the same thing on the same side, the same. So was that? I'm just. Is there something there? Or am I just thinking it?
No, because that's obviously a tattoo. It's not a branding. I don't know.
Like,
But
yeah,
maybe
like-
that's like the marking where they have to do it. If she eventually gets to the cult, I don't know. I have
But
no
it's
idea.
just so like she has the tattoo on her butt, but then it gets branded in the same spot from the
Right.
cult. So it's like,
Is it supposed to look like a brand? They just didn't have the budget. They didn't have Tom Savini to do the prosthetics.
yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have Savini.
And another one, the scenes. It's like the first major kill scene is pretty much right after, where Tommy gets yelled at by Grandpa to not hang out with heathens. He's like, normally I'd be telling you to
Screw
go
her brains
at
out.
it or screw her brains out. Yeah, you know.
This one, Missy, I'm afraid she doesn't have any.
Yeah. So anyway, so they split up, and then she goes home and she thinks Tommy's coming, and it's a guy dressed up. I think it's the first time you see the robe, isn't it? The robe with the guy with the mask.
Yes, the
or whatever.
walrus devil.
mask or whatever.
Yes, this right here.
Yeah, the scene that's on the background, but as you can't see. But yeah, so she thinks it's Tommy playing a joke, and then she gets all naked again. More boobies. And this movie had a lot of boobies, by the way. Lots of boobies. That's like probably its best part.
Between that and DC LaCroix.
And then she kills. The dude kills her.
All right. So do you think that was Grandpa in this scene?
No,
You think this is the mom?
I thought it was the mom.
You thought it was the mom the
I
whole
thought
time?
it was both of them. I thought the mom was conflicted the whole time because I feel like there's a scene where you can see her hair too
Well, here's
in
the
the thing. But
So the whole point now, spoiler alert here is, we go through this entire movie. Tommy's going through the trials and tribulations of wondering if he's going to be evil like his grandfather. We think he's obviously the killer that's dressed up like the demon. And then
he's definitely the red herring.
he's
for sure.
conflicted. He's conflicted because he's asked to kill the sister by the grandfather. And by the way, they don't really use names in this. It's just, that's my sister.
Yeah,
That's brother. Hey,
the
brother.
relationship, like they really pound that in your head. Like, what's the matter, Mama? Is my older brother Tommy messing with you? Like,
Yeah, like, oh, I didn't know Tommy was your brother. I guess you got to tell me 20 times. So they definitely pop because it's just really bad writing. So the writers clearly needed to keep stating who the
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
relationships. And then it gets to the point where Tommy's conflicted. Like, I got to choose between grandpa and sister. He chooses the sister in a ritual sacrifice. It comes down to, what are you going to do, Tommy? Are you going to be bad or are you going to be good? Tommy takes the high road, saves the sister. But then what ends up happening is there's this, it jumps right to an altercation between Tommy and Grandpa, where Tommy is forced to kill Grandpa, and then somehow before Grandpa dies, he turns Roger, or whatever the brothers, right?
Roger.
or brother, we'll call him brother, he turns him by using the awful I love you sign, because they don't know how to use the actual horns in this movie. They keep using the I love you sign in sign language. So they mess up there massively throughout the whole movie. So he touches his head with the I love you sign / devil sign. And then Roger kills Tommy. But it's not Tommy. We find out that the masked devil is actually Mama.
Mm-hmm. The reveal.
Yeah.
Which I had a feeling. Just because I always, like I was saying before, she just seems so conflicted. I feel like she was super overprotective of Tommy as well and her family. So anybody that messed with her families who got directly killed.
Yeah.
Like the guy running, Tommy got into a fight with him. She didn't like the tramp that he was dating. She killed him. Killed her, I'm sorry.
Right.
So that's kind of what my frame of thinking was. I'm like, she's so emotional.
You know
she
what?
loves her son.
This was very Friday the 13th.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of originality in it.
Yeah,
I do like the mask though. That mask bomb.
The mask is good.
I love the mask. Yeah.
So
good.
you know
It was
what?
good.
It's funny. I've seen it 4 times, and I just figured I never thought that it was the mom the whole time. I thought it was I thought the grandfather killed her, and then maybe Tommy might have killed Brian, the girlfriend's brother. I'm sorry, the girlfriend's boyfriend.
Right.
And then at the end, she just I don't know. So
I thought there was 2 killers though. I thought it was her and the grandfather working. But I didn't think they liked each other. I think she was doing it in spite of him.
yeah, she wanted to keep her family together, and
Right.
he wanted
But
to.
she was doing it
steal
for
Tommy.
family. He's just killing to kill. You know what I mean? Sacrifice to sacrifice. So that was my frame of thought. But I was surprised there's only 1 killer. I thought there was 2 for sure. I thought it was going to be the original Scream idea.
The double.
The 2 killers.
Yeah, they didn't really specify, do they?
Mm-mm.
Well, all right. So the reason why I said that the reason I think this got a 4.6 is basically the last 15 minutes of the movie. Imagine if this plot had a way better budget and less shitty acting.
Oh, I think
It might actually be like legit,
Absolutely.
But that last, because it's kind of a lot of twists and turns,
No,
which
I agree.
isn't
add a
super
little more to the
original,
story, a little more to the writing, for sure. Yeah.
I think if this, instead of redoing a franchise we've all seen a million times,
Yeah. Remake bad movies and make them good.
remake really bad movies like this,
Mhm.
I agree. These are the movies that I feel like Hollywood is missing out on. There's
Agreed.
really good, they're like, you know what, there's something here. They could rewrite the script and make this a fucking killer slasher movie.
Just no David Gordon Green, please.
Well,
I don't-
he's in everything. He's attached to everything.
I don't want him to make any more movies.
Who?
David, the guy who did the
David
Halloween.
Gordon Green.
Oh.
And he did the new Exorcist. I don't want him anymore.
Yeah, I think this has potential to do.
I think
really,
we should
really
make
well.
the movie.
I know it could be. You just have to, if you're right though. You had some really good actors. And
Yeah.
let's be honest. Not
Or
even
just
just
at
the
least good
actors,
character actors. It doesn't have to be like the greatest cast in the
but
world.
a really,
Just
Or
really
script.
a really
Even
good
if-
script.
Yes.
A really good script.
And I think the
Like-
ideas are there. I definitely do. I agree with you, Doug. I think the ideas are there.
I don't even know if it's fully slasher. This would be slasher / what do you possession?
Yeah,
Because
nobody's
technically-
possessed.
yeah,
though,
No,
is it?
Roger's possessed
Well,
at the
no,
end.
Oh,
and
yeah,
shoots the-
yeah. You're
So
right.
so it's like, but it's like a
Forgot
demonic.
about the Roger part.
It's basically demonic / slasher.
Yeah, which
But
like those are like anything demonic or like
you never
possession
really
or
see
occult.
those
Like,
two together. I mean, I could be wrong. There's probably people would say like, no, you're wrong. There's this. But
Yeah,
that
I'm sure there is,
combo,
but-
that
like
combo,
Blood Diner. Ooh.
that combo is hard to find, and I think there's something there. And they should redo this, just like they should. There's just so many bad movies that they could redo.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you.
keep it 80s. Like
Mhm.
would be cool is keep it retro.
Yeah, keep it
Keep it
80s.
retro.
Don't like the Mighty Bloody Valentine. That's why I think the new one sucks so much. Was because like
They made it to 90s.
290s. I get it was the 90s. People are overnight like want to be.
We're onto something that you know is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean-
in 10 years from now, the new thing is going to be, we're taking the C movies and we're fine, because they should. They're really a bunch of shitty, dude. Look at Maniac, right? Like I know it's classic. A lot of people think it's, but bring back Maniac and Maniac. Is it Maniac or Maniac Cop? I'm
There's
thinking
two
of.
different movies.
I watched both. I mean, they redid Maniac, but
Not
Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop's the one with Bruce.
So
Campbell.
Maniac did get remade.
Oh, okay.
It got remade, and it was actually Frodo there, Elijah Wood.
Oh shit.
He was like the Maniac, and the movie was really bland. I actually watched that last week, as a matter of fact.
Whoa, okay.
So the movie was
Didn't
really
know that
bland in my
existed.
opinion, but it's shot really cool. It's actually shot in his perspective the whole time, except for the last minute.
Wild.
So you don't really see him unless he's looking into a mirror or something.
Wow.
That's how you see him. It's actually shot well, but it's a very boring movie.
He would be a creep too.
Yeah.
He would play.
He's a good creep. I mean, remember him in Sin City where he plays the claw guy or whatever?
Oh God, he's so good.
And he rips the people apart.
He's Kevin.
Kevin, yeah, you're right. Yeah, and he's sitting on the tree with his long nails and all that. Yeah, he does. He's a good actor.
I sucked the fingers. He sucked the meat from my bones.
We don't have to go on about it. Yeah, we don't have to go on about Elijah Wood, but I don't know. What is he still around? I don't see him making anything.
He did a podcast for a while.
Yeah. I just don't see him in movies. Like I think he'd be like a star.
He's directing and producing and shit. He's in the background now.
Yeah. I think he's one of those. Who's the dude from like Malcolm in the Middle, where like they basically like he was another one of those actors that was like, dude, I don't remember half the movies I made in like the 2000s. Like, he's like everything was like I don't know if it was drugs from him, but I think he had like a mental something going on. He's like,
I think Elijah's made so much money he doesn't really need to, so why he's not worried about it.
Like Wilford, remember Wilford? Had 2 or 3 seasons. Like it was like him and like he could like talk to his dog. But it was really fucking dark. Remember that one? It was on FX. Like I couldn't even.
I've heard of it. I don't know.
I remember watching the first season and just like I'm like, dude, I'm so depressed. Like this, like it's funny, but it's just like super dark and depressing. But one other notable scene is when Roger goes to talk to Tommy and he's just like pumping iron, getting ready for the big night. Because why wouldn't you want to look buff for your satanic, ritual? And he's like, "Is Mom with you?" And he's like pumping weights, and then he comes downstairs. He's kind of like busting. Of course, like I'm your brother, blah blah blah. And then he's like, "Aren't you gonna do anything meaningful with your life?" And Tommy goes over to him in the closet. He's like, "I am doing something meaningful." It's just like a bunch of. It's like it looked like multicolored pea jars with like a crucifix.
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
remember.
upside a crucifix and.
Yeah,
but he's like, I see why Mom has such a problem with you hanging out with Grandpa, like, and no one thinks anything of any of this, And this is the scene where like Roger's talking to Tom. He's like, "Oh, you're at the party tonight. Like, looks like Grandpa can't have any fun."
Oh, can we talk? Yeah, I always want to talk about the party. Then we can move on. But that party is ridiculous, dude. It's like normal people, and this lady just starts going up and gets completely naked, full frontal,
like bush
you see everything. Yeah, it's insane, and like all these people are just watching her and laughing like it's a normal thing you see at a regular party.
Once again, is that what the 80s were really like? And then like some dude doing like fucking like improv outside, like doing stand up comedy.
There's no way that happened, especially with like there was like old ladies there. There was like. Just normal mothers.
And they're all sitting there watching.
They're all watching and laughing. And then the music, it's like one of them's still playing, but the rest are just watching the woman.
Yeah.
Like, so they're faking like playing is one of them. It's ridiculous, dude. But I don't know, man. And the movie, I'm going to say what I thought of it real quick. I thought it was fun, man. I had a good time with it. I recognize it's a bad movie. I do. I'm not going to beat around the bush. But I really like some of the premises in it. And I really like the like I've already said, the mask. And I just feel like the story, everything could be improved, but I think the cheesiness was what led to me actually enjoying it. I think if it was too serious, I probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah, if you took yourself too seriously.
Yeah. And I think that there's just this thing to it that I enjoyed. But I do understand. I recognize it is not a well-made movie. It's poorly acted, but it's, to me, fun, man.
Yeah, if they redid it, I would like to see a serious version of it. And have it be super dark, and I think it would be like a really good horror movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of daytime deaths. I did notice that. Yeah, a lot of like.
Yeah, again, they probably could. I don't know. They were like, we don't have the good camera quality to do this at night. We're just gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do this during the day. They were. I really don't think there's a lot of thought into this. I don't think they were too worried about that.
No,
that wasn't the point of it.
See, to me, that's part of the charm.
Yeah,
of
course,
I think it's part of the charm.
That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. You don't see a ton of daytime deaths. Like you said, it's probably for a reason. Probably budgetary or lighting.
No, you mean nighttime deaths?
I'm sorry, nighttime.
Yeah,
deaths.
and
so you don't see a lot of daytime.
And I bet you those like nighttime scenes, they probably lit the set with like car headlights.
Yeah, they had
like a bunch of cars just pointing at them. I guarantee you it.
That was one thing I couldn't find the budget, which bummed me out because
it can't be much.
It couldn't be much. Yeah.
I mean, High Pike was probably they probably got paid about $200 at a 30-pack of Budweiser or whatever.
Or cocaine.
Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, he did look like it. Oh, and real quick, his wig ruled.
Oh,
at the beginning when he was playing young High Pike. Yeah. What'd you think of the movie? You're the only one who didn't say anything.
Like I said, this is probably the 4th time I've seen it. And I don't think it gets better every time I watch it, but I think I appreciate it a little bit more. There's certain things that because it's pretty gory for 80s, late 80s kind of beat.
Yeah, to an extent, for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes it leaves even, but then you have Sleepaway Camp. I don't know. Honestly, overall, I do enjoy it. But like you said, Marco, for the pure cheesiness version.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you take it too seriously, you're going to fucking hate it. But the dialogue's terrible, but there's certain parts that are good. and that last 15 minutes just brings it all together, and you're like, oh fuck, there's a little bit of that weird twist ending.
And the music scene.
And the music scene. And it's just, it just cracks me up. The first time I saw it, when I saw like Tommy as like a 45-year-old, like dark-haired man.
Mac's dad.
Mac's
Damn,
dad.
I'm still amazed by that little fact.
That's
So,
so,
you just made my night.
Yeah, that's it.
Max
Well, I think we should end this one, and we'll do something else later. We can. I apologize. You can hear my son in the background. That's my parent life now. So my son's gonna be 2, and yeah, it's just gonna get louder. So I think we should just
Embrace it.
wrap this one up. Yep. And again, apologies for that, but hey, that's parent life. For those of you out there, you know, you got kids. It's pretty impossible. So yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll upload this, and yeah, check out the link at least for the DC LaCroix, the music video, and you know, check out the movie if you have time to waste and you don't ever want to get an hour and a half of your life back. We highly recommend, or I shouldn't say highly recommend, just check it out. It's a decent, cheesy ass 80s horror movie.
If you ain't a serious person.
If you're not
If you're serious about
if
it,
you're just looking
you're
for a
gonna-
movie, you know, just check it off your list as you've seen it. There's potential in it, then this is for you. So yeah, this is Kev.
Jag Munder. I mean Marco. I love that name. I'm going to change my name to Jag Munder.
and
That would be Doug. Thank you guys for listening. We will see ya.